Welcome to The Watching Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron.
And tonight we're covering Season 4, Episode 11, entitled Claimed. A return to form for The Walking Dead, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, we'll talk about some stuff we didn't like, but by and large, this is the opposite of last week, where there's way more to like. Walking Dead doing what Walking Dead does best, and that makes some of the bitter pills go down quite a bit easier.
Sure.
I want to apologize up front. I'm really sick. My throat feels like it's closing up. I'm armed with honey lemon tea. Jim looks like he's broadcasting from the set of the Blair Witch fucking project.
I'm in the middle of a move. All my stuff is gone, man.
You look like you're broadcasting from like I don't know, some secret bunker.
Yeah.
Are you hooked up to a kidney dialysis machine? Are you in a cave?
It's Jim's last stand. Here we go.
So I'm going to try to get as far as I can. I might have to tap out in the feedback and have Jim read it. We will see. We'll see.
All right. Well, why don't we get right into the recap? So we can get to that juicy feedback later.
Hold your horses there, Jim.
What do you got?
I want to announce a contest. Do you want to go to the Walker Stalker Con?
Sure, yeah, I do.
All right, well, we've got tickets because we're going to be a panelist on Saturday for podcasters. But if you have you want to go and you have a lucky friend or loved one or significant other or just random stranger you want to grab from the street, we're giving away 2 sets of 2 3-day passes. They're worth $100 a piece. Details in our pimping section at the end of the main cast before we do the feedback. We got some exciting things to talk about. But I just want to let you know, I know probably 95% of people switch off as soon as they hear the word pimping. But if you have the means to go to the Walker Stalker Con in Chicago in 16 days, check it out because it's going to be a good time. And we'll talk about that, in that section. But I just wanted to prime the excitement pump.
Okay.
As hard as I can.
What do you think about the recap now?
It's just a sideshow, really. I'm impatient to get to the pimping section, and so everybody else. Let's just skip right there. It was a good episode, right?
No.
Yada,
We're
yada,
do the
yada.
recap like we always do.
Okay, if we must.
Here we go. It starts out with the cold open of Abraham enjoying the zombie apocalypse a little bit too much for Tara's tastes. She's not happy with his smile on his face while he's killing all these zombies.
I think that's one of the underrated charms of the zombie apocalypse.
You get to kill a lot of stuff?
Yeah, like if you're having a sometimes you just feel like you just want to beat someone's ass. You just wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
Uh-huh.
What better stress relief than go out there with the crowbar and just start braining fools? And it's completely moral acceptable. In fact, a laudable trait. And I'm surprised. I mean, we've seen psychos kind of have like but Abraham just is like a dude who's just good at his job and enjoys it. He's clocking in. He's doing the work. He's whistling a tune. He doesn't seem psychotic. He's just a man that loves being able to kill people when it's morally acceptable. That's all.
Yeah, and I don't know what his background is. Maybe he has like a military background or something. As he can drive this big ass truck. And he says, "I'm the luckiest guy in the world" at the end of this scene. So maybe, yeah, he's out there. He likes killing.
What do you think?
Why not?
What do you think? You've seen him for a whole episode now. What do you think of the look of Abraham?
It's okay. It's ridiculous, but it's overshadowed by Eugene's ridiculous look, so it's not as noticeable.
Here's the thing. He's got like fire engine, blazing in the sun, copper hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like a dirty yellow handlebar.
Okay.
So if the curtains are bright red and the walrus is faded dishwater yellow, what do you think the pubes are? Spotted
white.
Silver, bleach white.
Yeah, white as the driven snow, man.
I feel like they look like lace curtains in a heavy smoker's house. Like they're just like stained caramel color. That's what I'm going with. It's just like a Photoshop gradient that was applied to his head with nicotine yellow at the bottom and burnished copper at the top.
Okay, that's a horrible picture you're painting for us, but I appreciate it.
I'm not the one that did the hair dye, man. I'm washing my hands of that.
Okay. So I think right up front I'm going to give Zombie Kill of the Week because that crowbar pinning and then subsequent brain smash was pretty awesome.
No, not the Eugene? Really?
I like that
I
a
don't
lot.
know, man. Giving away this early in the episode might be a mistake.
Wait, Eugene might get one? What are you talking about?
We'll get there.
All right, we'll get there. So we go over to Carl and Michonne, and they're sitting down for breakfast without soy milk. Sorry, Michonne.
Soy milk
Rick
is the shit. I like Michonne for repping the soy milk.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's not bad.
It's not good for like cereal, but if you just want a cold glass of something, it goes down pretty good.
Sure, but it's no whole milk, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, ice cold whole milk, like. Phew.
So they have a little discussion there, and then Carl realizes, oh my God, Judith is not here, and probably dead, when he tries to make a joke. And then Rick is in the kitchen. Michonne goes in there and Rick thanks her for being a friend to Carl, because, you know, he has to be Carl's dad, but Michonne can actually be there to be a friend.
Michonne's like, a what now?
Yeah.
This was actually a pretty good interaction, right? It felt real, as did Carl's, kind of, crashing down to reality. I liked it.
Yeah, I feel like Rick and Carl and Michonne are some of the best interactions in the show, consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's a lot of good stuff with like Glenn and Maggie, and when Herschel was around, he did some great stuff. But Rick, Carl, and Michonne always have this like kind of bond that they formed in season 3.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Still waiting for the signature Tyrese moment. Still watching for the signature Bob Angelo moment. Daryl's full of signature Daryl moments. Beth and Sasha still wanting to see something strong from them, but I feel like they can all bring it when they're given good material to work with. And I guess I'll wait a little bit later on to talk about that.
Okay, so Carl and Michonne go out on a supply run while Rick stays back to rest because he, was just unconscious the day before. And so he goes upstairs and he lays down.
Gives away his hand cannon.
Yes, he hands Carl his gun before he does that, which we know will turn out to be a big mistake later on.
I don't know. I think that might be debatable.
Really? Okay, well, we'll debate it when we get there.
Let's do that.
Okay, Michonne and Carl then have raided a house. We kind of skip ahead a little bit, and Michonne found some crazy cheese, and Carl is too bummed to take any of it. Like,
right.
he doesn't want to have anything to do with this crazy cheese.
Right.
And he's too bummed to laugh when Michonne tries to cheer him up. Definitely thinking about Judith here, right?
Yeah. And is in the best of times would Michonne spraying her mouth full of crazy cheese be funny?
Yeah, I feel like maybe if she had done it right before the soy milk comment, it would have gone over like gangbusters.
Really? I think Carl's just a little too old for it. A little too cool, a little too hip.
Maybe. He was laughing on the inside.
I think, and I liked Michonne acknowledging that she didn't put it on Carl and be like, don't laugh at my joke, you fucking dick. It was more like, I don't really know how to make boys your age laugh.
Yeah.
Other than holding him down and tickling him, that would be funny to see her overpower him and just make him wet his pants tickling.
Okay. Maybe next episode.
Cold medication, hell of a drug.
So Michonne reveals to Carl that she had a son, a 3-year-old son, and Carl is curious. So Michonne decides to kind of make a game of supplying him with information. So they go supply hunting, and she's answering one question for every room they clear.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said in the instant cast, felt a little contrived to kind of get information out of her, but it was fun at the same time.
Yeah.
They're looking for food, batteries, and water in that order. And I think the batteries are for Carl's DS. I think he's got a DS stashed somewhere, and he really wants to play it.
No, it's Mr. Watch is what he's got. He's got to get in one of those old school LCD game watches.
Wow. Okay. Anything you want to say about this scene here? It's not quite to the good part of that scene. So
controversial. Do double French doors constitute a new room, Jim?
I would say yes, because they use those in saloons as well.
All right. Well, would
Like
you
those double doors?
Would you say if they had like a dressing partition up in the corner that would constitute a room? Because I
No,
feel like
I would not.
The double French doors are just a partition in this case.
Huh.
I gotta side with Michonne.
All right, but then how do you explain the saloon doors?
Well, those are. I mean, clearly that's on the outside of a structural wall. I mean, you could have
Sure.
no doors at all, and you've got the outside and then inside. If that's not a barrier of note, I don't know what is.
Okay, fair enough. So then we go back to Rick, and he's laying down and he's sleeping, and a group of people enter the house, and they start fighting, and that wakes him up, and then he kind of hides under the bed while they look around. And one of the guys decides, hey, I'm going to take a nap on this bed. Mm-hmm. And so Rick is pinned down, literally pinned down by the weight of this guy.
So at what point did you feel confident that this was not Rick hallucinating? Or I actually got this really strong Home Alone vibe that continued throughout the episode.
Going to drop a paint can on his head
Yeah,
or something?
he's sprinkling shattered ornaments around. Got the sticky finger bandits right where he wanted them. But I thought that maybe Carl and Michonne had come back, and Carl had found like the batteries and a DVD player, and was like, he's having a you filthy animals type moment. And I thought he might be hallucinating or having a bad dream. I really liked the way they played with him slowly gaining consciousness and the sounds getting louder and louder. And then Andrew Lincoln, I don't know if I like him when he's blowing snot out of his nose and bawling, but he really was good at conveying very focused panic.
Yeah.
You know how like your brain is actually thinking about every single moment you're making and how to make them even more efficient, and you're like, oh shit, the book. Oh shit, the water bottle. Oh shit, my bloody fucking shirt. It's like all those thoughts were going racing through his mind, and it was really effective at creating tension.
Yeah, I bought that it was really going on right away. Like, I didn't even think about a dream or anything.
All right.
And I don't know why that is, because I could certainly see why you would interpret that way. But yeah, I was hook, line, and sinker there. This scene gets, throughout the episode, so much better. I mean, once they start actually fighting and you've got the guy on the floor, wow, what a performance. But we'll get there. I was actually saying on Twitter that he should have tied this guy's shoelaces together when he was standing by the bed. I think that would have been awesome.
But then he fell on the floor and he's looking right at him. And there was nobody there to choke him out, so I don't know if that...
Yeah.
I don't know if I can agree with that strategy.
I don't know. Rick could have jumped out and choked him, maybe.
What if
he choked another guy out and nobody hurt him, so...
What if he, held his knife out up against the bed, right in the middle of it, like braced against his chest, so when that guy landed with his full weight, he just impaled himself.
There you go. Perfect.
Probably not a great idea either.
So Michonne and Carl clear some more rooms, and Carl gets some more answers. And then they find this really creepy painting that leads Michonne into a back room where she finds out that the family who lived in this house committed suicide together.
Right.
This was a dark scene, and it starts out so innocently. I love the shift in tone that it takes when she opens the picture.
Yeah.
And sees what it is when Carl is not there. And oh man,
things are about to get unhinged, and they started playing the Walking Dead unhinged music.
Yep. So what do you think about Michonne allowing another question to be asked because he found a picture? I mean, this is just a bullshit way to get more questions out of her, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing a game at this point, so it's kind of like Calvin Ball. The rules are not really important. It's and they're not really even the point. It's the interaction between the two.
Okay. And we noticed that like once Michonne kind of goes back into that room, it feels like it kind of gets the rooms kind of get more and more innocent, whereas the things that are happening in the rooms get more and more horrifying.
Yeah,
as she goes deeper into the house.
And I'm on pins and needles because I just feel like one of these days I'm going to see a zombie baby, and I'm not going to be able to handle it. In fact, I was I won't say disappointed because that makes me sound like a psychopath, but I thought it would have been a little bit more effective if those corpses had been like noticeably children. I didn't think they were. They looked like they were all like teenagers and a mom.
They looked fairly young to me. I'd say maybe like 10 or so.
Really?
Yeah.
It's hard to age a mummy. But the other thing, I'm always tense in these scenes, and it's the same way if I ever play a video game where there's like the hint of something supernatural might happen, like say in Uncharted, and there's like a dead body on the ground, or Tomb Raider, there's a dead body on the ground. I'm not going to unload a whole clip of ammunition on that just to be fucking sure, because they look desiccated, and they're looking peaceful. And it looks like they just blew each other's head off. But, man, I would not get that close without giving them all a double tap or a pickaxe through the head. And I'm just like, that kind of tension eats me alive. I'm a sucker
zombies
for
are the perfect vehicle for that, right? Because you don't really ever know if one has been shot in the head until you get close enough to examine it.
Yeah, and for some reason...
and Resident Evil is a perfect example of that, the games.
And for some reason, like, zombies just suddenly popping out of, like, a wall of ivy, it doesn't do that for me. But, like, if they're just bodies present, like one of the creepiest scenes for me in The Walking Dead was in the pilot episode, Andrew Lincoln sneaking past all those bodies wrapped up in sheets in the hospital. Because you just, you know what he doesn't, which is any one of these fuckers could get up and eat him for breakfast.
Yeah, it's all about the tension created when you see a potential threat, right?
Yeah, and the fact that in this we've talked about this in Walking Dead history, they used to do a much better job of mixing up tension that doesn't pay off in a zombie attack with tension that does pay off in a zombie attack. And to me, they just sucker me in every single time if they would just keep that balance right. Like a 2-to-1 ratio of tension that doesn't pay off, or not even with a jump scare, and tension that does pay off.
Yeah, definitely. Also, at the end of the scene, Carl, we find out, assumes that Judith is dead. I mean, I guess we kind of knew that already. But that sets up something that we talked about a little bit in the Instant Cast, but I think is really interesting, the idea that she is not dead, and that something may potentially happen to her, or they may get back together. There could be some interesting stuff to happen with that. So we'll see in future episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the fence, leaning towards getting off the baby fence, thinking that I'm just worried that this is going to be more baby danger exploitation and less using Judith being alive or not being alive to tell us something about Rick and Michonne and Carl, because there's no chance of any plot developments happening on Judith's end. She's a fucking baby, right?
Yeah, sure.
They're human larvae until they get to be 2-3 years old. Rick and Carl is interesting, but that's it'd just be stronger if she were perhaps older. And I still have this sick feeling in the pit of my stomach that she's not long for the world. So how many times can they endanger her and get our blood pumping before they finally kill her? Although there's a lot of people saying that I'm full of shit and that Judith is a symbol of hope that everyone's going to rally around throughout the series. But
it's possible, I guess.
So I mean, do we need a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen type deal going on in The Walking Dead? So it's like, even if that's true, that's I'm a little worried about that. What do you think?
She's the new Herschel. She just can't speak to inspire hope.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Herschel could
sure
rack a shotgun and whip people's legs off and stitch you up and inject you with drugs. I mean, he had a lot more utility than just as a spouting font of hope.
Fair enough. All right, so another guy decides that he wants the bed that Rick is under. There is a scuffle between these two guys, and one of the guys is put to sleep for like an hour and a half. If you were knocked out that long, you need to go to the hospital because you are in trouble.
Well, I don't. I mean, I've been knocked out and I've been choked out, and usually as soon as someone lets go, you wake up pretty soon, almost immediately. My only thing is I'm going to give the show a little bit of credit. I'm going to engage those emergency suspension of the disbelief thrusters, engage the full power, and say that both these guys were probably fucking drunk. Mm-hmm. The one guy just woken up from a pretty sound sleep, so he's groggy anyway. So basically, his sleeper hold was the equivalent of an extra strength Ambien. It just a massive dose of melatonin. He went to sleep, and that's what he wanted to do anyway. Why is his body in a hurry to wake him up? He's going
Man, if only you could package that up and sell it.
Liquid sleeper hold. Yeah, that's I don't know. You think that's a good rationalization, or is it horseshit?
I guess I'll give it to him. It felt like he was out for a very long time. The other guy had time to fall asleep and everything.
Well, and the other guy clearly wasn't dead. We saw him breathing, and also if that guy choked him out. And not just choked him up, but killed him, and then went to sleep with him at the foot of his bed. Idiot survivor of the week,
for sure.
Yeah. So it's like, and I thought that they intentionally showed him breathing. They did. That's my thought on it.
Okay, Glenn wakes up in Abraham's truck, and he decides that he wants to get out, so he makes him stop it. He jumps out and he goes back for Maggie, but Abraham doesn't want him to, and. There's a conversation for a while, and then they fight, and oh my God, Eugene shoots up the truck and everything else within a 50-mile radius of the truck.
Yeah, this guy.
Okay, idiot survivor of the week, easily.
Right.
I don't care how smart you think you are the idiot survivor.
This guy is intentionally written to be terrible, right?
I'm really curious about this guy's story. Maybe it just says something about what a sucker I am, but the fact that they wrote him so weird and he played it so weird, I'm now curious about his motives and what he's actually there for.
Huh.
Because I don't buy that he's a scientist with the answer to everything.
No, really?
No, I do not.
Well, so I know what goes on in the comic books, and already it's kind of diverged a little bit, so I'm on the fence about whether I can give a theory. But I'm just going to save it for the very beginning of the spoiler section just to be safe. Because I was thinking about this the next day, and God, Walking Dead is a toss-up between them intentionally writing someone that's stupid and annoying, and maybe they're going to redeem him later. I remember I really hated Poindexter. Poindexter came across as kind of like this guy. He just didn't have a chance to really hose down bullets in the survivor's direction and disable a vehicle to where you really, really wanted to fucking kill him. But I've got some stuff to say about that. That's not, is it a comic spoiler? Is it a TV spoiler? If I know what happens in the comic, but it doesn't happen the same as the television show, do I have spoiler knowledge, or is it like I'm from an alternate universe? I have no idea, man.
I don't know either, but I think we're safest if we save it for the beginning of the spoiler section.
Okay. And then people that want to hear my half-informed comic spoiler, but don't consider that spoiler, can listen and then turn off as soon as I'm done talking with that. And people that want to remain pristine can shut off at the music, the spoiler music.
Sure. The other thing about Eugene that I don't understand is how the hell he has survived so long. He is obviously unequipped to deal with even a single walker. As soon as he sees that thing come out of the woods, he's like, hey, Abraham, I need your help. I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how long we don't know how long he's been with Abraham. We don't know what he was doing before Abraham.
It's got to be from the beginning. Otherwise, he'd be dead.
But I mean, compare and contrast him and Tara. I mean, Tara was that stupid. Before someone had to tell him, shoot him in the head, dumbass.
Yeah, true.
So again, it clearly the guy is really hateable and really annoying, and that whole, I mean, I also feel like that there's something maybe wrong with him, and he's got some kind of emotional disability or some kind of, on the autism spectrum or Asperger's spectrum, or he's, because I don't believe if he said something that condescending to Abraham, and Abraham didn't know that there was maybe a little something weird about him, that Abraham just wouldn't stomp him into the ground. Although it does seem like Abraham really believes in this mission.
Yeah, he does, I think. And Tara and him kind of talk about that toward the end of the episode.
Right.
So maybe we'll save that discussion for then. So we go back to Rick, and once the guy on the bed falls asleep, he decides he's going to move out and he's going to go to another room in the house. He almost gets caught by tennis ball guy. I don't know. This scene wasn't as tense for me because I kind of knew what they were going to do here.
Well, I mean, you know they're not going to
happen.
You know they're not going to kill Rick, but I was still tense because there's a lot of things. I mean, look at Glenn and Maggie from last season. There's a lot of things that can be done and not kill you that would still be unpleasant to watch and something you wouldn't wish on your hero character.
Sure.
So I was scared for Rick, if not his mortal soul, for what little remains of his bodily integrity throughout the whole episode, honestly.
Then he goes into the bathroom and he kills a guy pretty loudly. Like,
yeah,
they are smashing shit up. They fall on the floor. How can they not hear this commotion?
Maybe this guy's just an exceptionally loud masturbator.
There's Leroy again. He's at it one last time, huh?
This guy is like no holds barred. He's in there gasping and banging walls and slamming
choking
the
himself
floor
out
with his feet. Yeah, he's got some autoerotic fixation going. They just no one's going to open that door because, as a lot of people point out, he wasn't taking a shit.
No,
this wasn't
was
John
not.
Travolta lurching from the throne in Pulp Fiction. This man had his pants up. He's sitting on a closed lid. I kind of think that he was going to settle in for a little, a little post-apocalyptic jerk session.
He might have been, yeah. He didn't have like a book in his hand or anything, did he?
He's got the indelible images burnt into his mind from many long years surfing the darker sections of the internet.
I was talking about a real book, like you would read, not the picture book.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering if he was.
We
sitting
just
down
have different reading materials in our bathrooms, Jim. I guess is what I was.
Yeah. So if no one hears that, then Rick sneaks out onto the rooftop, and he goes down to ground level near the front porch.
Again, you and I used to live together, and I got on the house every once in a while to do some goddamn thing.
Yep.
How quiet was that for you, being inside the house while I was walking around?
Not at all.
And like, if I was at my stealthiest and quietest, how do you still think you would be like, what the fuck is going on the roof?
Yeah, probably.
What if I fell on the roof, half ripped off the gutter, and collapsed bodily onto the back porch? Would you wonder what was going on then?
I would definitely hear that and wonder. Yeah.
But again, I just engaged. I diverted all power from the deflectors to the emergency suspension thrusters and was able to power through that scene.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the stuff with Rick is so good that I hate to fault it too much for some of the...
And there was some clever stuff, like the way he left the bathroom door cracked open.
Oh, yeah.
For his easy-bake zombie action. It's like...
Yeah, which pays off later. I'm not sure how many people actually realize that that's what happened there.
I didn't the first watch through either. I was
me
like,
either.
why? So because I couldn't remember if the door was cracked open or if it was shut. And I'm thinking, well, maybe he's trying to return it back to and then I realized when you hear the commotion going on once he gets out of there. What do you think we'll see these guys again?
No. I mean, we didn't actually really see the survivors' faces, so I don't think we would recognize them if we did see them. The only guy we saw was the guy on the front porch, right?
And I guess, and I didn't know this because I'm old, but I'm not that old. He was a recurring character from China Beach.
Oh, okay. I don't even know what that is.
It was, man, God, I'm sounding like a fucking idiot. I think it was set in the Korean War, the Vietnam War, but it was a serial on network television. Mm-hmm. That was really popular for several years back in the late 80s, early 90s. So it seems like that's a little bit notable for a guy that they're just going to throw away.
Sure.
And also, do you think that these guys are connected to the two Yahoos we saw in Nebraska? Because we're still in the same general area here.
Yeah, that's true. I really have no idea on that.
We probably will never. I mean, how would we ever make that connection?
Yeah, unless their names are specifically mentioned. I don't know. The writers will have to make a point of that.
Yeah, I don't even know how they do that, so maybe that's a silly question. But I feel like we'll see these guys again.
Okay. So then we go back to Abraham and his group. He tells a story while he's working on the truck that illustrates how solid the truck is and how fucking stupid Eugene is. Glenn takes off, and everyone decides they're going to follow him now that they have no vehicle.
Yeah, against Abraham's better judgment. And he does have a good point there, right? It's like we're talking about the fate of all humanity. We're talking about saving the world versus this guy's wife.
Sure.
I felt like this scene fell a little bit flat for me because I thought Glenn was just a jackass. Like I buy him waking up here in 3 hours we've been driving and frantically banging on the windshield till he stops. Mm-hmm. I don't buy him silently stalking off like fucking Shane. Not Shane from The Walking Dead, Shane from the movie The Shane, and then socking Abraham.
That's the part that gets me.
For no good reason. Like, why not use your words, man? It turns out Abraham somehow knew about his wife. I guess Tara had absorbed all this knowledge from Glenn and saw fit to explain it all to Abraham, and Abraham gave a shit.
It's the fist bump.
Gave a shit.
It's like a Vulcan mind meld. She fist bumps somebody, and boom, they know everything she does.
I see. It's like getting jacked into the Matrix.
Exactly.
But I just that seemed like wildly out of character for Glenn, and it's a little bit bacon gauntlet for me.
Yeah.
A little bit ham-fisted to like, wow, this guy's serious about getting back to his wife.
Completely. There was no need for that, and in the end, Abraham let him walk off anyway. So.
Right.
Yeah, I felt like that was totally unnecessary and out of character for Glenn, honestly.
Indeed. And Glenn's a tough guy, and Glenn's got a lot of metal. I mean, Glenn took down a walker that he was tied up into a chair with, basically his bare hands and a shattered piece of chair, and then he killed a dude with a femur bone. He's kind of a badass, but he's not the kind of badass that's just going to punch a square hunk of granite like Abraham.
Sure.
So
let's talk about Rosita real quick, because she picks up the picture of Maggie and hands it back to Glenn after taking a look at it. And I caught something in her eye there, like she felt bad for Glenn at that moment, that he had lost Maggie, or I don't know what it was.
This girl is so out of your league, dude.
Rosita? Is that a Glenn's league?
No, Maggie.
Oh,
she's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can see the obsession here.
Yeah, you better thank your stars for the zombie apocalypse, because that's the only way you get that woman.
Yep. Did you recognize Rosita?
Recognize her?
Rosita is the nerdy girl from Twilight.
Oh, God, no.
The nerdy girl in Bella's circle of friends.
No, she looks totally different, right?
Oh, yeah, I didn't recognize her. I got that off of some casting site.
Huh.
But I was like, huh. And before everybody makes fun of me, although you can still make fun of me, the only reason I know about Twilight is because of the fabulous Riff Tracks editions,
yep.
Which, if you haven't seen them, you really need to. They're pretty fucking good.
Agreed. So there's this shot at the very end where they're all kind of walking up this road, and you see a shot of Abraham, and it zooms over to Eugene. I get a bad feeling from this single shot about Eugene. It's something nefarious in his motives, the way he's kind of smirking in that shot.
Yeah, he's
after having just told off Abraham.
There's something menacing and off kilter about his overbite, and the way it contrasts with the mullet. It's spooky. I'm feeling you there.
Yeah, so I really hope they unravel that mystery throughout this rest of the half of the season.
It almost feels like they're hitting it a little too hard.
Maybe. I mean, it was very subtle there at the end.
You thought so?
Yeah, because he had that smirk on his face most of the time.
Right.
Like when he was telling off Abraham, he kind of still had that smirk, like, oh, I'm smarter than you.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
But it's just the way they shot it, and that they lingered on him at the very end, last.
To me, that's the over the top part. It's like,
okay,
you want somebody to think of something, and for the audience to be like, aha, that's the kind of shot you give him.
Sure.
And I feel like it's just a little maybe early in the season to start letting the cards get that far away from your chest.
All right. So
your
then we
vest,
go,
if you will.
We go back to Rick. He's still ducked down by the front porch, and this guy's whistling and smoking outside. And then he sees Carl and Michonne returning, which this was awesome because I knew, like, when Rick was hiding under the bed, not only does he have to deal with these guys, but he's got to also warn Carl and Michonne.
Very good point.
And so I was waiting for this, and I'm really glad they had him do it.
Because I was thinking that, man, just as soon as you think he's going to get away, Carl and Michonne are going to come up and unwittingly fuck things up.
Yeah.
But they actually subverted that expectation by having them get away by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, and it worked out perfectly with, Rick leaving the door halfway ajar to the bathroom. That was well plotted and well played by the writers and everybody.
And it makes Rick watch out, incoming Breaking Bad comparison. But some of the best parts, especially in the early going of Breaking Bad, was seeing Walter White in just sheer panic mode, thinking fast and on his feet and winning by a hair's breadth. And Rick came across very, everyman. He wasn't. I guess John McClane in the first couple are a good example of this too. Not so much the later. But he's the everyman guy who's just put in this extreme situation, and by his guts and his grit and his intelligence, quick thinking on his feet, he's able to avoid death. And again, watch out, I just made a favorable comparison, The Walking Dead to The Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. It's a fair one. So he runs out to meet those guys, and they get the hell out of there. Then we go back to Abraham, and he's telling Tara that he likes her loyalty and that he can tell she's a good person. But saving the world is more important to him. Which
is funny because I thought that was kind of black comedy.
Uh-huh.
He's saying all this about Tara, which we know is bullshit. Like,
sure.
She's not loyal to Glenn. They just literally met, and she was trying to kill him a few hours ago.
Yeah, and she points that out to him. She's like, I'm not a good person. You don't even know me.
Right. So I like the fact that they kind of lampshaded that.
Now, what do you make of Tara not believing that Abraham just wants to save the world? Should we trust Tara's judgment here?
Tara has never given me overly perceptive vibes.
Okay.
So, no. I'm going to go with no on that.
All right. Yeah, I believed Abraham more than her this time.
Yeah, she very well may be right, but it's going to be by accident, not any kind of science or witchcraft she possesses.
Yeah. It also seems unlikely to me that Eugene will save the world, not only because he looks and seems like a dumbass, but the show really couldn't survive that, right? I mean, maybe they could take it in an interesting direction if he did actually have information, but he could never reveal that information, and they could never use that information.
Yeah, it's a different kind of show, although it heads in more of kind of like the Lost, where you've got people on a mission and there's a meaning and there's light at the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. One of the best things about Walking Dead is also one of the worst things about Walking Dead, which is there just really isn't a lot of hope.
Sure,
your long-term best effort is you survive the Walking Dead, you survive the living killers. And in 30, 40 years, this burns itself out, and you go back to a sustenance agrarian lifestyle with no antibiotics or modern technology or medicine. It's grim. It's grim.
Yeah, it set us back thousands of years.
I mean, even if they found a surefire cure, I mean, they're obviously not going to cure the existing zombies.
Uh-huh.
And I've heard estimates of like over 90% of humanity dead. That is, it's too late. It's too late. Even if you had a cure, it's too late to preserve society as we know it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You now just have these pockets that you can hope to preserve.
And you can get a little bit going, but, there's just not enough critical mass of the technology, the raw material, the energy to make a go of anything other than, like you said, small pockets of, people using Amish levels of technology.
Sure. So we get to the final scene where Michonne, Carl, and Rick find a sign that's pointing them down the tracks to Terminus, I guess, which is where Tyrese was headed, right?
Yep.
And they decide they're going to follow it as well. So they'll
Those
likely
who
be
arrive
meeting up
survive,
with
Jim.
What?
Those who arrive survive.
Yes, they do.
Seems like this is the hook to bring everybody back together into the fold.